I have been very remiss with my videos lately. I had a lot of stuff going on around the house, so I'm several weeks behind on doing videos. And while I was on my little break, I watch, a lot of travel videos, which, I do. I like to watch travel videos. And I thought, I'll do just a minor little one of my own because I traveled alone a lot when I was younger. I did maybe a handful of trips with some family members, but other than that, I was on my own, and so I needed to be hyper aware and keep myself safe from any goings on that I didn't want going on to me. More or less, I don't know how to put that. So when I traveled, the very first thing I did was I had a waist pack. Now, back in the old days, I had a really nice, it was flat leather one. But later on, I ended up getting the one that I have now because it had a stretchy strap on the waist pack so that I could, put it on, keep it under my shirt. Nobody sees it's there, because my shirts are a little bit more loose when I travel. Waist pack. Because I didn't need the thieves looking to see, oh, where's their purse? I never travel with a purse. Purse is no, it's a no-go for me. Even when I'm at home, just shopping and stuff in my own neighborhoods or whatever, I wear crossbody purse. And people are like, oh, you're so hyper aware. Yes, I am hyper aware. Thieves look for people who have, just wear it, on one side, or they carry it in their hand and up they come, off goes your purse, and it's gone. So I started wearing a crossbody purse, and with thicker straps too, I might add. No, don't wear a thin strap, and I'll tell you why. Because thieves then got smart, and if you were wearing a crossbody, they then looked to see if your crossbody strap was thin, and oh look, I have a pair of heavy-duty scissors. Clip, there's a purse, and off the purse would go. I know because a friend of mine, that happened to her. First night she wore this nice little purse out for an evening. Off it went. So when I traveled and I got this new pack and I had the stretchy band, my brain thought of another thing. Okay, if the thieves could see it, I'll say like the shirt rode up, or I'm not paying attention, or they're, coming by, and then they will lift shirts, or fuss around to see if there's one around you. So I'm always careful, when I'm in the underground, because I travel a lot to the British Isles and Ireland, so I'm in the underground a lot. So I was, I'm always aware at every second, is somebody getting too close to me? Are they looking over to see, do I have a purse? Do I have a pack? What do I have? They're ready to steal it if they think you're not aware. So then I got smart with the stretchy band on my waist pack. I'll show you what I do with that. Here is the stretchy band. Stretchy. You know what makes it harder for them to pull something off if they see it and clip it? Wrap it around your belt loop. And not just one. Wrap it at least once on each side. I have it wrapped, I think I did it in the back as well. Sometimes I wrap it around every belt loop. Sometimes just around two. Because if they snip it and try to pull it, how come it's not coming off? Because it's wrapped around my belt loop. There, take that. Now, when I first started traveling, traveler's checks were still a thing. I started traveling back in 1994. So, people always say, oh, get traveler's checks because if they're stolen, you can have them replaced. And traveler's checks were a pain in the backside. I can't begin to tell you, because I ended up in places that were outside of large cities where traveler's checks weren't accepted. And I remember at one place I was at a rental car company, and they didn't take traveler's checks, and I didn't have enough money on the card I was going to use, because they wanted to do, on credit and on car rentals, they obviously they set aside, I think, like $150 or something on your credit card to pay towards, extra insurance, whatever it is. They always take a deposit on top of the fact they're charging. So they couldn't do that. And I'm like, well, she goes, well, we can do it by cash. And she wrote out the whole contract. So they really did a special thing for me, because there was no way to cash the traveler's checks for that day. So she wrote the whole thing down. And when I got to the other end, then we went to a bank and cashed the checks, and I paid the money. So on my next trip, I'm like, no traveler's checks. No, I took, my 2 credit cards. Everything else was cash. But I didn't like the fact that I would put into my waist pack the amount of money I thought I would need for the day. And then I would put the rest, I would have to hide it in a shoe in my suitcase, or in a special hidden pouch in the suitcase. But I didn't even like that, because some of the places I stayed weren't hotels. I would stay at bed and breakfasts a lot of the times, because at the time that was a way cheaper way to go. Now, obviously, I had trust in the people who ran the bed and breakfast, but some of those bed and breakfasts had doors that were easily, broken open, or I think there was one place I stayed that even didn't have a lock or something. It was like really strange. And so I put a chair under the door when I was in the room at night, but I had no way to lock it during the day. So I'm like, okay, this is not cool. After I got back from that trip, I was watching a travel show, and they were showing new items for travel. And that's how I heard about the leg safe. Now I'm going to show you that. This is a leg safe. It has 2 pouches. Front, where I kept all my extra money. The back, where I would keep my passport, in case I needed it when I was, because there were various places needed to see your passport. So if they needed to see my passport, I would go into a stall in a restroom and take it out of that and put it into my pack at my waist. And then when you pull down the pants, nobody knows it's there. So that was that little trick to keep my money on me. And again, I would take and put into my waist pack what I thought I would need for the day. Everything else goes in the leg safe, and I go about my day. Now, another thing people do, which now this is just a me thing. I never needed a whole lot of stuff in a backpack when I traveled. When you go out for the day, like sweaters, water, umbrella, all these things that people put in backpacks, I think they're going to need for the day. Snacks, and well, of course, I'm generally in a large city, because mostly I go to London. That's a thing. I go to events or whatever in London, or I go visit friends in Wales, and I'm in Cardiff, or in a little town where I know where all the food is. So I don't need, to carry that stuff. These are places I go on a constant basis. or used to go on a constant basis. But it's not that I'm not without a backpack. Okay. I do need to keep a couple things in my backpack because I generally get, thirsty in the summer, depending on what city I'm in, if it's really hot. And a lot of the times, Britain, it's rainy, and it can be rainy in the summer even, Britain. So now I'm going to show you my backpack. Now I have a special backpack. It's a small backpack. This is Bradfield, my backpack. I'm not going to explain why his name is Bradfield in this video. Maybe I'll tell you someday. He has one zipper in the back of the pouch. It needs fixing, actually. And of course, when you wear him, the zipper is up against the back, so people can't get into it. And the other reason I never really liked doing backpacks is after 9/11, just about everywhere you go will search your backpack. And to me, just my opinion is I don't want to waste my time while a person unzips every single pouch on a big backpack and searches through everything, because there are certain venues that will. They will do a search that'll take 10 minutes or more, and I am not kidding. Okay, I'm not kidding about how thorough some of these places are. So I just didn't want to stand in line and be searched. That's just a me thing. If I needed a sweater, it's tied around my waist, and that's me off for the day doing my thing. So that's just a few little me type things when I travel. Keep everything safe, everything stays closed, my bags, when I'm in an airport, that kind of thing. I don't use, like when they have like, if you want to pre-check your bags, if I'm taking, a train to the airport, in some cities they have, you can, when you get to the train station, like in London, I don't know if they still do it, but for a while it was like, you could pre-check your bag at the train station for the express that went to the airport, and then that would, they would take it to the airport and load it for you. No, my bags are with me, period, always. Whether they're going to be checked under the plane or whether they're my carry-ons, they're with me only. Okay, nobody touches my bags. That's just a me thing. Also, I've just recently read a couple of stories where bags have just gone wherever, or gone astray, or this is lost, or no, my bags are mine. You don't need to pre-check them. One time, a guy practically argued with me, and I'm like, you're not pre-checking my bag. That's the end of that. It's coming with me. Don't touch it, please. Thank you. I'm not being paranoid. I'm just being, I know I've heard the stories, and I prefer not to have those stories happen to me. That's just a me thing. So, and maybe next week I'll do a packing video, because I probably pack a little differently than most people. I don't know, but I'll just, show you what makes it easier for me.